Infinity Ward's rebooted Modern Warfare 2 brings back a more classic Call of Duty multiplayer experience than we've seen in recent years, with maps better tailored to traditional 6v6 play and dialed back movement mechanics. Modern Warfare 2's gameplay really feels like a refreshing return to old times again, but unfortunately, the package as a whole feels lacking. As a whole, Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is the fast-paced shooter you expect it to be. The standard maps are scaled down for 6v6 matches this year, so there's less quiet and campy moments, and you're almost always finding yourself in the thick of the action. Modern Warfare 2 does dial back the overly fast-paced movement of recent years too, but that doesn't mean you can't choose a run and gun playstyle. The gameplay is just a bit less twitchy too, as the movement feels more on par with the original Modern Warfare series than the 2019 version. Sliding doesn't quite feel as fast and fluid as Modern Warfare 2019, and the bunny hopping movement has been nerfed a little since the beta. You can still hop around a corner, but there's not a build-up of an overly aggressive speed that lets you start hopping all over the map. This makes the multiplayer movement feel more grounded and slower paced than the last few entries of the franchise, which is a great change. The last few years of Call of Duty has left the majority of the casual player base at a disadvantage in trying to counter the hopping and sliding frenzy. Modern Warfare 2 launched with the typical modes, perks, and kill streaks, but there are a few notable features missing from this year's game at launch. Another fumble for Infinity Ward is that Modern Warfare 2 is alienating a huge chunk of the player base at launch with the lack of a hardcore playlist, which the developer has renamed as Tier 1 mode, and says will now release on November 16th with the launch of Season 1 and Call of Duty Warzone 2.0. There is an entire community of hardcore players that always get to play this mode at launch, who had no idea their preferred playlist wouldn't be available. All of these missing features and lack of a hardcore playlist are a bummer, because this is an otherwise refreshing return to classic Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 provides standard maps that are better designed with the core 6v6 experience in mind, while Ground War has battle maps for the large-scale mode. There are a few standard maps that are also a piece of a larger Ground War map, but the standard version of the map still feels appropriately sized for core multiplayer. For example, Mercado Las Almas is a solid 6v6 map for all game modes, but the location can also be found tucked away in the Las Almas setting in the Guijarro Ground War map. There are 10 standard maps and 5 battle maps. Standout maps include Mercado Las Almas, which features a small marketplace with fast-paced routes. No matter the mode you choose, there's always some action happening on Mercado. Another strong map is Crown Raceway, which is a nighttime map set at a Formula 1 racetrack. This layout doesn't quite feature a classic 3-lane map design, but it's not overly complex and the map flows really well across all game modes. Of course, almost every Call of Duty has one unpopular or controversial map, and this year it's Santa Sana Border Crossing. This has an awkward layout as it's just a long strip of highway congested with cars. There are a few small buildings along both sides of the highway, but the map leaves much to be desired in terms of variety. Most of the fighting takes place with nothing but the traffic jam of cars, many of which will explode from damage. It only takes one grenade or kill streak to set off a chain reaction of exploding cars, which can quickly turn deadly. Modern Warfare 2 features 10 game modes to choose from in standard multiplayer. This includes the staple game modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination, Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, and Free for All, and all of these can provide a great time in Modern Warfare 2. Sadly, there are only 2 new modes being introduced here called Prisoner Rescue and Knockout, and they leave much to be desired in terms of objective gameplay. Prisoner Rescue is a 6v6 mode that requires players to take turns either trying to defend or rescue 2 prisoners on the map. Knockout is a very similar 6v6 round-based mode, with fast rounds in a best-of-5 match, where both teams fight to hold a bag of cash. Both Prisoner Rescue and Knockout are no respawn modes, but players can revive their fallen teammates to get them back in the match. Both new 6v6 modes are underwhelming, and it's a shame that both new modes added this year are so similar to one another. Knockout or Prisoner Rescue both play out similarly, usually devolving into rounds of team deathmatch, with very few teammates ever bothering to play the objective, which can often happen in Call of Duty modes. Unless there are measures in place to entice players to play the actual objective, matches can often lead to becoming a kill fest that goes to time instead of score. Both modes seem to be meant to introduce a non-respawn mode that plays faster than Search and Destroy, but both lack any real creativity compared to some of Call of Duty's past modes, such as Black Ops 4's Counter-Strike-like Heist mode. Ground War returns for those who want a bigger fight than 6v6, again providing 32v32 large-scale warfare played on sprawling maps. There are 2 Ground War modes available with the choice of Standard or Invasion mode. Standard Ground War is much like Modern Warfare 2019's successful mode, serving as an oversized domination match with 5 control points to capture and hold for points. This standard mode is chaotic fun with tank battles, air support, boat fights, and underwater combat. This truly feels like Call of Duty's sandbox mode, and there's something for everyone here. Ground War has a really strong map pool, with each featuring plenty of building variety and verticality to cater to all playstyles and weapon types. Ground War Invasion, meanwhile, is a team deathmatch style mode with a point system that goes beyond just getting kills to rack up a score. You're also awarded points for shooting down enemy kill streaks or destroying their vehicles. Unfortunately, this feels like the weaker of the 2 modes. Another major addition is the ability to play Modern Warfare 2's standard maps in third person. This is a separate playlist with mixed respawn modes. Thankfully, third person mode has one of the most notable changes from the beta, as Infinity Ward has adjusted the perspective while aiming. So you'll only switch from third person to first person perspective when aiming down sights with scopes over 4x zoom. The change in perspective does help, and I find myself now able to play and enjoy the mode without feeling queasy from the constant swap of perspective. This is a much more enjoyable experience than the previous style of constantly switching between perspectives. Although Modern Warfare 2 takes us back to the past with classic movement and traditional map design, one component Infinity Ward pushes further is the Gunsmith weapon customization feature. This year's Gunsmith adds a new layer of complexity for unlocking weapons and crafting the best build. The Gunsmith's new platform system is essentially created to eliminate the grind of unlocking the same attachment over and over for different guns, which sounds great in theory, but it actually ends up being a different type of time-consuming headache. Unlocking guns and attachments is no longer a simple process of just leveling up and using the weapon you want. Instead, you're forced to use weapons in other classes just to unlock attachments and additional weapons. Overall, it's nice not to need to unlock the same attachments over and over again, but the complexity of how the entire platform system is designed could be overwhelming for new or casual players. I'm not a big fan of snipers or light machine guns, but I'm essentially being forced to level them up to get some of the attachments I want for my assault rifles and submachine guns. The game also adds a shooting range where you can now go to test out the guns you've spent time building. This is something the community has been asking for, and it's great to have the option to test out different attachments to better find something to suit your playstyle. Modern Warfare 2's guns also look and sound great, with the reload animations and gunfire audio up to par with Modern Warfare 2019's stellar quality. Modern Warfare 2 also comes packaged with Spec Ops mode, which is a 2-player co-op experience of large-scale missions taking place in Al Mazrah, the new map location for Warzone 2.0. There are 3 missions available, with more to come post-launch. So far, my time with these missions makes the mode feel somewhere in between the original Spec Ops experience in 2009's Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 2019. These missions are a little more open world than the smaller set pieces used in the fan-favorite 2009 version, but this reboot is not as buggy nor plagued with the same overwhelming enemy spawn system that Modern Warfare 2019 had. Modern Warfare 2's version of Spec Ops also introduces a new layer to the mode with kits, which is like having a set loadout of perks, field upgrades, and kill streaks tailored to fit the role you choose. For example, the Assault kit lets you equip an extra armor plate, and leveling up the kit will get you additional benefits, such as faster reload, stims, and additional armor plates. You can also easily get through all 3 Spec Ops missions without having to utilize these kits at all, but they are beneficial if you're going for fast completion times. Hopefully the kits will be more beneficial for the game's seasonal content, as they don't really feel worth the grind to level up yet. Activision says the kits will also be used for Modern Warfare 2's upcoming Raids feature, which the publisher described as a 3-player cooperative mode with a mix of combat and puzzles, and maybe they'll be better utilized there. I'm playing Modern Warfare 2 on PlayStation 5, and the first 2 days were rough, with frequent freezes and crashes, but an update has dramatically reduced the number of crashes for me. Others have experienced various bugs, Spec Ops glitches, and features like pinging and the weapon tuning are currently disabled due to some game-breaking issues. Taking all of this into account, I'm still having a great time playing Modern Warfare 2, despite the rough launch weekend. However, it just can't be ignored that the overall package is missing those core multiplayer features. It's definitely the gameplay and classic feel that saves the experience for me.